be really careful because there's a lot of stuff to avoid around here, and I've got to taxi down that way. So a good look left, a good look right. I'm looking for a 2300, so that's a little bit quick. Goblin while Oscar is lifting from hangar. So what I'm looking for is as the rotor speed and the engine speed get to the green arc, I should be just below 20 inches of manifold pressure. That's what that looks like. So that's us safe to fly, and then I'm looking ahead, keep feeding the power in. That's us off the ground. Little check of the T's and P's, everything's fine, and I'm just going forward. We're going round that way, and we're going to taxi off down here.
Nice.
We are flying a helicopter. Now, I'm quite happy, very, very lightly, for you to take control with me. You can't fly, obviously, but you can follow me through.
Yeah.
The one that you need to be really careful of is the pedals. Because I don't know if you can see, but I'm making tons of really tiny changes. They're minuscule and then permanent. So I'm happy for you to, when we get in the air properly, take the controls with me, but you do need to be very light on them. Don't resist me doing anything, because trust me, I know I'm doing more than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm looking left and I can't see that anything's out there that's going to get in my way. I'm looking right and I can't see anything out there that's going to get in my way. So, Goblin Oscar is defined, runway 17, left hand. We're going to spin round straight into it. So, top left hand instrument on here is the airspeed indicator. Once that gets above about 40 knots, which it is, I'm going to lift. I'm pulling as much power as I need to, and I'm looking for 50 knots. And the reason I'm looking for 50 knots is our auto rotation speed. So if I lose the engine, the speed at which I'm going to get the best out of the helicopter is 48 knots. I don't want to be at 48 knots, because if I'm at 48 knots, I could be below 48 knots, and if I'm below 48 knots, I need to try and reclaim some speed, and I can't do that. So I'd rather go over it than under it. The other thing that I'm conscious of is there's a lot of trees down here and I'm very low and very slow, and that's not a good combination. So I'm picking a route that's not straight out from the runway. I'm looking for things that I can avoid, and I'm looking for the least dangerous route. So that if all does go to pot, I'm okay with that. So what I think we'll do is probably head straight out to the south-ish and hook west, and we'll go and find the coast. One thing that I didn't do properly was note the time, 17:41 we departed. Then the helicopter, buddy.
Readability 5. Well, thanks and hold 17 off to me.
Let's get this going. I just head straight out to the coasters. That's an alternative. What we got, 12897. Well, my head is right in the way of the GoPro. That's not a good move, so I'm going to stay left. Hi, team. How you feeling, you alright?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Having fun?
Definitely.
Good. I've got some height now, I can start to increase the speed a little bit. Don't want to go too fast, just because there's no real need to.
Yeah.
What I think we'll do is head to the coast and back in the shortest possible distance, and then we'll see if we can have a pimple around on the airfield in a rough triangle. We'll do some low-level stuff, we'll show what the helicopter can do. So, constantly having a look at the T's and P's, making sure everything's fine. Do you see how the oil pressure's come back into the green arc now? Bottom left one?
Yes, so yeah.
This one, yeah. So we're okay with that.
Taking off.
Everything's hunky-dory. Put that where it should be. So 60 knots, nice and happy, about 2,100 feet. Don't really want to deviate from that just because there's no real need to. And we're going to trim this for some straight and level flight.
Nice.
So the idea is that I can't take my hands and feet off because that's just silly. But if I need to just change hands, the trimmer does a lot of the work for me. So when it's in the proper place, I can kind of let go and it kind of carries it going the same way. Not an excuse for laziness. I'm sure some people use it that way. Hard to see on days like today where temperature's quite good, it gets quite humid and you can see the haze. You can't quite see the horizon. such a big risk for us. But certainly if it was any hazier than that and you're starting... The idea is that you fly by what you can see out the window.
Yeah,
a lot of people fly glued to this and obviously that's bad, we don't want that. And so having a horizon that you can make references against is really good. So if I'm sat up, I know that about 3 fingers between the horizon and helicopter or different reference points mean different things. So I can fly at a specific speed just by looking outside the window. I don't need to look at the airspeed indicator to know what's going on.
Okay.
And it comes with a number of things. It comes with a bit of experience. It comes with having a good teacher. And just trusting what you can see out the window. A lot of people are constantly cross-referencing this, and I am to some degree because I want to know that I'm still at the altitude that I want to be at. I want to know that I'm still doing the speed, but it's a check. The primary thing is what I can see out the window. So on another day, I might choose to get a service from Exeter, who generally will cover about 40 miles in every direction from them.
Nice.
Difficulty is Exeter, down here on the map. They're in a valley, so the radio doesn't always reach. So you're right on top of them. Gone very quiet and it's unlike you.
Pardon?
I said you've gone very quiet and it's unlike you.
Observing.
Alright.
Quite exciting.
If you have questions, let me know, I can do questions.
How often do you come out anyway?
Not as often as I'd like. I've only flown I think 2.5 hours since I got my licence in November.
Oh, right.
And it's a combination of I've not had the time, I've not had the money, when I have the aircraft has been tech, or Andrew double booked. And so yeah, it's been not a nightmare, but it's been a bit tricky to get up when I wanted to. So I've been caught out by a bit of a phenomenon.
How's that?
Human eye is very good at gauging distance away from things. I've snuck nearly 200 feet in and not realised just because the terrain is climbing as we come out this way. So I'm keeping a fixed height above terrain rather than a fixed altitude.
Oh, okay.
And it's something that didn't affect me as a fixed wing pilot, but it really does as a rotary pilot. I don't know why. I think just I'm flying close to the ground and looking at things differently. I don't know what it is, but it is different.
Dunkerswell radio, this is Golf Oscar Foxtrot Romeo Yankee. Radio.
So I can go to the coast. You see this thing here?
Yep.
I can't fly in, that's a danger area. Or training area.
Why is that?
Basically it's dangerous, so there's a training area over there. So you got this, it says TNG, ground to 6,000 feet MSL.
Yeah.
MSL's mean sea level, that's what this is calibrated to. So currently I'm about 2,250 feet above mean sea level, as far as Dunkerswell is concerned, and as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, okay.
And so there's just a training area over there that I'm not allowed to go in. Military training stuff, probably.
Secret military.
Secret military that point everything out to you on a map and say, hey, don't go here. Really secret.
Romeo Yankee taxiing to the hall for runway 17.
Something that I think maybe people don't get an appreciation for on the ground. See the height of that radio tower?
Yeah.
I'm at 2,200 feet here above mean sea level. I'm probably, I don't know, 1,200 feet above the ground. Maybe a bit more than that, but that, if I was any lower, that'd be a problem. The other really good one is pylon lines.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So you see this beastie down here?
Oh yes, I do now.
Quite hard to see from here. Imagine you're looking through it because you're getting ready to land in a field or next to your favourite pub or whatever else. But the good thing about things like this is they're really good to see navigationally. So I can see that's there. Can you see the wind farm just over there as well?
Yes.
They're really good for navigating to because on the charts they come up as big symbols and they've got a spot height against them.
Okay.
So you know what height the top of it is at, and so you know what height you're at relative to it, and so you can work out your height above the ground.
Oh, nice.
Currently eating a hair. Not pleasant.
Does your partner come out with you actually?
Only once. She doesn't get on with helicopters.
Alright.
So because of the nature of the work she does aerial surveys on archaeological features every now and again. And so when she gets in a helicopter, you see this thing?
Yeah.
This line is 30 degrees of bank. What they'll do is go steeper than that because they want a straight down shot. So they'll be at 60 degrees, hooning it around in a circle, and she's looking straight down at something.
Oh, lovely.
And I can't imagine that I would do so very well with that. And so she's been not very well a couple of times she's been flying. So she did come up with me once, and got some photos of where we live, and of her office and of Taunton. It was okay, so so maybe she'll come again, maybe she won't. I don't know.
How long do you usually average out?
Mine? Depends how much money I got.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll have to start putting this on the side to come again.
Yeah, I do.
Incredible. I'll take a photo.
Yeah, of course you can. That's all being filmed anyway, man.
I got 4G, I'll just FaceTime my nan. Hey, nan.
My first fixed wing instructor, he said when he passed the skills test, he borrowed the plane for half an hour, went and orbited the nearest phone mast and phoned his mum. Little bit against the rules, no names.
Thanks for Royal Golf, could you do mine?
I'm going to put another 10 knots on quickly, just because I want to get there and get back and do some low-level stuff right at the airfield.
Check,
That's cool.
the problem with box 1 and...
I'll take some photos to prove I've been out, because my grandmother tried phoning and I just replied with a message going, in the air at the moment, we'll call them back.
Well, the footage goes on YouTube, so you can show her that.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, you got a channel, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You have to let me know what it is, I'll subscribe.
Oh, do.
991 Golf,
But the other one that's really important for me is, you see how at 9 o'clock there's a smokestack?
Yeah.
Down here?
Oh, yes, yeah, I know.
Really important for me to follow smoke and flags and clouds.
Okay.
Because I always want to take off and land into the wind. That includes an emergency, so right now I know that if something goes wrong I'm going to land over that way because that's where the smoke, well it's the opposite way to the way the smoke's going, so I know the wind's coming from over there. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it makes a lot of sense close to the ground with all the physics, and it prolongs your gliding distance because you've got more air hitting you, keeping you up.
Right.
Yeah, that's the sea, man, look at that.
Oh, that's incredible. Yes, and that's Seaton.
So yeah, you got Seaton, you got Lyme Regis, Bridport. Weymouth a bit further up the coast. If we have more time we can go to Weymouth.
There's Axminster.
Hey?
Axminster.
Yeah,
A friend of mine travels down every other night to visit her girlfriend. Sorry, her boyfriend. Hell of a journey.
Well, maybe they're at home, maybe they see a helicopter and you can say, hey, did you see that helicopter on Tuesday? That's me. Alright, this is where the fun begins.
But hey,
No.
I love that. That feels so good as well.
I know. It's just the freedom. I can go where I want, man. There's views like that as well. I mean, not every day you can get up 2,000 feet and have a look at the coastline.
Yeah.
Last time I came flying, I went and flew over the office at Colmhead.
Oh yeah.
But I'm thinking not many people will be there anymore. No, it's 6 now, so I could be back before 6 if I could. Not gonna happen. Go around the big forest rather than through it. You just, the second button down that says zoom in, can you just poke that there once? On here, zoom in. Never mind a bit.
Sorry.
But you're not useful for much, are you? You don't develop, you don't project manage.
You know me.
What are you here for?
Coordinate, right. All I need is for you to turn 90 degrees.
Alright, no.
All I do, buddy, is set up meetings.
Yeah, glorified PA. That's all you are. Deal with it. But this is where things get really awkward because I know I want to be going over there. There's a little village in the way and there's a forest, so I could go between the middle. But the problem is I know that if I want to crash land, I want to go that way and I don't want to land in the forest. So I end up having to go around the town. Whereas in a plane, because I can glide for much further. Is that grammatically correct? I don't know. Leave a comment in YouTube if that was grammatically incorrect. But yeah, I end up having to plan the way that I fly things very much differently to how I would in a plane, and that was one of the hardest things I think converting my license. You know, just getting used to how much more vulnerable we are as helicopters, really. The thing is, if right now the engine failed, I'd be going in somewhere underneath that barn.
Yeah.
It's down.
Golf Romeo Yankee Lane.
How many hours is it usually for a helicopter, or is it the same as a...
To get a licence, 45 minimum, average is about 60. I had mine in 39.
Okay.
The reason being, because I have a fixed wing licence, I already know some things about navigating in the radio and some of the physics of flight, whatever else. So the Civil Aviation Authority allow you a dispensation. You can take 10% of your flying hours up to a maximum of 6.
Alright.
So I got 6 hours off my helicopter licence, which saved me a bit of money.
Very nice.
Yes, everyone wants to save money.
Golf Juliet Mike, downwind left hand, 17.
We'll start heading back. And we'll join for a fairly normal approach.
Okay.
And what we'll do is, do you remember the big grass triangle in the middle of the airfield?
Yes.
So we're going to do some handling in there.
Nice.
Romeo Yankee roving on 17.
That's kind of why I've dragged it out here a little bit. Just so that I'm not in the way of the circuit traffic. So Dunkerswell's over here. The circuit at the moment is kind of along there, across there, down there, there, and round again. So you just fly a circle basically, or like an ellipsis. But I don't want to be in their way when I'm rejoining.
Okay.
So I'll just drag it out here a little bit.
I see the radio mast. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's the one we passed on the way.
Yeah, it is. But you see how it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And it is on the chart. It's really obvious on the chart. So if you need to navigate by them, there's nothing to stop you. I mean, we try and navigate by generally the edges of towns or motorway junctions, or there are things that are defined called VRP. So if it's a very obvious geographical feature or man-made feature, and we know exactly that we can use it, we will navigate by that. Talking about that smokestack again, we kind of flown round it. And actually from this side it looks very still. Reminds me there's not very much wind. See what I mean, looking out over the hills about the haze? I do that for the purposes of the camera. It's very hazy out there. The other fun one is remembering or feeling what the wind's doing. So 70 knots indicated airspeed. That's the speed at which the wind is hitting the front of the aircraft. And remember the tubes that I showed you that measure the airspeed for you? It's basically an anemometer built into the damn thing. But this is saying we're doing 92 across the ground, so I've got nearly a 20 knot tailwind. Straight up the taxi, and we cover some distance. To this side. Thought I'd blind you. Thought I'd blind you. If we're not all blind enough as it is, staring at computers all day.
Emergency band or?
We do them in training.
Yeah.
We do them in 2 stages in training, so we'll do them down to what we call powered recovery, so we get to about 300 feet, start winding the engine back in, and we'll come into a hover.
Okay.
And then once we've kind of got proficient at those and we know what the profile of it looks like coming down, we'll do them to the ground, so we'll actually do a run on landing. So rather than where we took off, we sort of lifted in a nice gentle hover and then zoomed off. Instead, we would literally stick it on the skids on the grass.
Okay.
So I'm starting to have a good look out for other traffic that might be flying into Dunk as well. Can't quite see it at this distance because of the haze, but we know that it's not far away from the map. So this ridge that we're about to fly, you see this road over there? I think that runs parallel to one of the runways at Dunk as well, so if you follow this in far enough, then you end up more or less at the airfield.
Alright.
No, I'm chatting out rubbish. That'll be an next road across. This is the 303, look. 303?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, joining the A30. because if there is stuff in the circuit, I don't want to be in its way.
I appreciate they want to monitor the aircraft and helicopters and whatnot, but when you're taking off, is there any reason why you can't just do a vertical takeoff?
Ah, well, there isn't. It's in the interest of performance of the helicopter and safety to not do so.
Okay.
Because the idea is, do you remember what we said about our 50 knots speed? Well, if I haven't built that speed up and the engine fails, I've got nothing to cushion my landing.
Oh, I see, I'm with you.
Good lookout, I can't see anything. And we're more or less pointing at the runway, or the side of the runway, so there's two runways here. You've got that one, which we use most frequently, and there's that one. We want to be landing over there, so we're going to go that way round, which is why I'm having a damn good lookout to my left, and I can't see anything coming whatsoever. Fields.
Golf Tango Lima taking off 17.
Golf Lima Oscar's downwind, runway 17. Give them a little bit of time to get clear, we'll just hook around the edge of this tree line here. I'll bring in some of the speed off, so I've still got the tailwind to contend with and I'm still doing 65 knots, so I'm actually doing 80 across the ground, which isn't too quick, but it's faster than it needs to be, so... Surveyed site and it's nice and safe and whatever else, but I'm having a good look out for any obstacles, things like cones the Mansell Raceway, so I don't know if... I've never found out, I don't know if Nigel Mansell's from around these parts or something, but that's what we got. So, look into the right of the runway, see the windsock? Big orange thing. See it?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, wind straight down the runway, dead happy with that. See this line of cones?
Yep.
Things like that I'm on about that you just got to be a bit careful of. I'm looking at the numbers, just checking my speed. Maybe a little bit faster or bring a little bit off. I'm starting now. Can you feel it's really quite shaking?
Yeah.
Bringing a bit of power in. I don't really want to land, I just want to get to a nice hovering altitude. About there, and then we'll go straight off to the side. Having a good look for Y lines, fences, things like that. Nothing in my way.
But the pool.
Hey?
What's with the water?
It's for the skydivers, I think, mate.
Right.
So, all I want to do is point in the wind. Copy, Nebraska's vacated, left 4B operating in the grass triangle from minute 2. I want to get a nice, stable hover. So, I'm very conscious of, can you see the manifold pressure? And how high that is? Because I'm over grass, and the grass is quite long. So, basically, what I'm trying to do is balance the helicopter, get it nice and still, but not use too much power in order to do so. And the thing is, if I were to do this over tarmac, I'd need less power. And the reason is, there's a lot of stuff around how air gets displaced around the helicopter. And so, hovering over tarmac, hovering over short grass, gravel, things like that, it all changes the power that I need to use for achieving the same thing. There's a constant balancing act. And then we can do fun things like have a good look behind us, cheeky little spot turn.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. And then we decide, well, I'm pretty bored of this, I want to go sideways.
Very nice.
Very nice. I won't go backwards because there's no need. But what I will do is a bit of downwind taxiing because the wind isn't too strong. So we can go over here. And I am very conscious now of how much power I'm using. Having a good look out at taxiway, make sure nothing's going. Having a good look out now at final and the base leg just to make sure there's no planes coming that I need to be wary of. Nothing on the taxiway. Having a good look out again, there's nothing coming, so I'm cleared across, there's nothing coming from the other way, still cleared to cross. So can you see now how actually I'm climbing, but I've ditched about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of power off? Carefully and gently on the ground. About here. See? A bit hard because of the variable wind coming through the side of the hangar. There we go. Down on the ground. Nice. Time is 10 minutes past. So 43 to 10. 27 minutes.
Very nice. I really enjoyed that.
Good.